Okay, looks like it's getting close here, so some of you more astute viewers may notice that there's only one microphone here today. But I do have a new blue Jeep behind us. Yeah, we're going to do a little bit of talking about the 4xe. So you are going to want to watch this one. This is going to answer every question you've ever had about the 4xe. Most of them. So, I don't even know what that color's called, but we call it blue. What do you think? Are we getting close enough to ready to roll with this thing? I think so. Let's get going with this. When Jeep put together the 4xe, they wanted it to be able to take some Jeeper abuse. So they ran them hard for 1.4 million miles. I think that compares pretty closely to running the Golden Spike Trail in Moab. I'm pretty sure that's about how long that trail is. These little beauties have a base price of about $48K. I built a nicely loaded one on the Jeep website for $61K. Yes, of course it had heated seats. The Jeep website calls for a $1,000 to $4,000 premium over non-electric Jeeps, depending on the model, but don't forget, there's a $7,500 federal tax credit for being such a good citizen. I never thought I'd have the feds throwing money at me for buying a Jeep. These are strange times. The 4xe's horsepower and torque are pretty interesting. How does 375 horsepower and 470 foot-pounds of torque sound? Those are Hemi numbers. But do we actually get all of that goodness off the line? 0 to 60 in 6 seconds is no slouch, but keep watching. For reference, the 6.4-liter J392 has 470 foot-pounds of torque and horsepower, with a 4.5 second 0 to 60. The 3.6 has 285 horse and 260 on the torque. Okay. The 3.6 and the 2.0 both run 7-second 0 to 60 times, which is surprising, because that 2-liter is quick. I don't know if I'm totally sold on their numbers. The EcoDiesel comes in at 260 horse, and it's a torque monster with 480 foot-pounds of torque, but it has a 7.5 second 0 to 60. That's another one that's hard to believe. Just seat of the pants feel, they seem pretty quick. But this will require some additional testing for science, of course. With the 4xe and give us everything you've got hybrid mode, let's see if we get all 375 horse off the line. First up, we have the 3.6.
Go, right? 1, 2, go.
Now let's take a look at what the diesel does.
Ready? 1, 2, go.
Next up, the 2.0. But it really kicks in at about 100 feet. We didn't get to 60 miles an hour in our very accurate test. I knew that thing was quick. Now we could talk about fuel mileage, but as Jeepers we usually throw all the estimates out the window with our ever-increasing tire sizes and accessory tonnage. But this is an e-Jeep, so here we go. They tell us that we've got a 49-mile range with a battery and motor combination, and a 21-mile range on just the battery alone. All combined, the motor will finish out the trip with a 370-mile driving range. So not bad. Gas mileage, they use a 49 mpg-E, the equivalent is what they're throwing out there. So 49 giving you gas and electric until the electric runs out. And 20 miles per gallon on gas only for the E. So once your batteries are dead, you're going to get 20 miles a gallon. 20 miles per gallon for a 2-door V6 is what they call for. The 2-door V6 gets 20 miles to the gallon. The 2-liter gets 23 miles to the gallon. And the diesel gets a staggering 25 miles to the gallon. But we'll of course modify our Jeeps in an effort to get the fuel economy down to a respectable number far less than the advertised 20 miles per gallon. The 4xe comes in at 700 to 800 pounds heavier than a 2-liter. We'll of course weigh it ourselves and fact check that. Okay, this is interesting. Where are the electric motors in the 4x4e? Okay, one is built into the 8-speed 8P75PH PHEV transmission. Yeah, spit that out. And the other one is still in the e-torque motor that the 2-liter has always had bolted to the front of the motor. The e-torque acts as the charging system as well as starter, and it's belt drive. And it's a seamless transition when it goes from electric and the motor kicks in. It's very smooth. The e-torque motor kind of acts like a supercharger on steroids. It adds power to the motor from a dead stop, and it can also act as a battery charger. And it feels almost like a diesel exhaust brake for added back pressure when charging the 4xe's. The 91 batteries are located under the back seat, so there's no really any big loss of room there, and at least they're not underneath the Jeep. Motor Trend calculated that the 4xe gets the lowest fuel economy between the 4xe, the 2.0, and the 3.6 once the batteries go dead. I don't know, that must be the extra weight causing that. They did the math, and it'd take $2.37 to drive 25 miles in the 4xe, so $2.37. And it'd take $3.56 in a 2-liter. That difference, over 15,000 miles for a year of driving, it would save you a full $200 in fuel costs. 6.4 Hemi would cost a glorious $2,000 more at 14 miles per gallon, and no one cares. Inside, there are new buttons in the E-Type, and we all like buttons. These new buttons are awesome. We can explore them. The first one is the E-Select, the electric battery only, or stealth reconnaissance mode as I like to call it. You run silent, you run steep. E-Save, that's running with no battery. You're saving it for later, like if you wanted to sneak up on the kids to bust their unauthorized house party later. Smart. And it still charges during this mode. Hybrid is default mode, and it throws everything it has at you if you're ready for it, and if you're that kind of Jeeper. Hybrid combines both electric motors and the 2-liter turbo power. The electric power is consumed first, so it sounds like you don't get it all off the line, and we just witnessed that. Regenerative braking, you select that to charge during deceleration, and it feels like a diesel exhaust brake. It also keeps the 2.0 in maximum charge mode. So how long do we have to stand here and wait for a full charge? 2 hours, says Jeep, with an available bad boy 240-volt charger. Now, there are conflicting reports of 4.5 hours charge time, then of course the slow charge rate of 12 hours on 110 volts. Now, we know that Jeep vehicles run quiet, but what if you were rigged for silent running in E-mode? Will your build still turn heads? Don't worry. Even with this stealth technology, there's a built-in pedestrian alert system, a whooshing sound, AC compressors making noise, and high-voltage electrical contacts slamming together during startup and shutdown. So don't worry, you'll feel right at home with strange sounds coming out of your Jeep. The 4xe was awarded the very prestigious award of 2021 Green SUV of the Year. SUV? Really? It's not even green. But we all love a trophy. It's hard to say, easy to use. The Level 2 Mopar branded Turbo DX electric vehicle EV charger. It's an available option, and Jeep seems to be in bed with Amazon, so you just hit the buy now button on Amazon. You've got $621 later, it's on its way. Transfer case options. Select Track full-time 272-1 is standard, but it does have a selected 2 high mode, or in the Rubicon, you get the Rock Track 4-1, still with the full-time 4x4 option. The transmission is an engineering marvel. 8P75PH PHEV. Yeah, spit that out. Actually, it has a drive motor built into the front of the transmission, and there's no torque converter, so it's just kind of an on and off clutch. The electric motor in the Trans has 136 horsepower and 189 foot-pounds of torque. That's the real deal. Because there's no torque converter to be locking up, the Select Speed off-road cruise control works up to 5 miles an hour for slow, smooth off-roading. The performance of electric vehicles of yesteryear, like the embarrassing to drive Volt or self-esteem crushing Prius, are all things of the past. I'm still trying to pull my eyeballs out of the back of my head after taking a ride in Gabby's Tesla Model 3 Performance.
I tell you what, it pulls your eyeballs into your head.
This electric stuff is here to stay.
Does it do that to yours?
And over time, the miles and charge will increase. But Jeep took care of the issue with the 4x4 hybrid. We're talking 373 mile range, so that's no slouch. We did some driving, we'll do some wheeling, and we did some drag racing under careful and closely supervised conditions on a closed track with no dogs. Well, I think that probably filled in some gaps. You guys understand the 4xe at a level that most people only dream of. So we're not done with this thing. We'll, of course, work our TeraFlex magic on it. We'll lift it. We'll make it big and bad. We'll go out and run it again. We'll do some wheeling. We'll do a lot of different situations with it. So stay tuned. We're going to have some fun with this one. Wood out.